All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another day of the Design Nuances Edu Series, where the objective of this series is very clearly to learn a new aspect of design, which is, let me share my screen here. Yeah, the objective of the series is to learn the nuance of a new topic specific to design, fashion, or architecture. You get to interact with an expert and absorb the knowledge that they share and get introduced to a new school and understand their purpose. A quick announcement for those of y'all who have not registered for the Design Hackathon yet, please do so. It's a multilingual event. It's open to, to anyone can participate in this, and where you design either a product or a service, right? I'm going to share this link so you can click on this and participate in that. But let's go down to today's guest of honor, that is Thomas Dal from the Strat School of Design, where he's going to be talking exclusively on a sneak peek into the future, right? So Thomas Dal, a little bit about him for those of you all who don't know. He's graduated from ISD France in 1999, so he's a veteran designer. And after that, he's joined Treves, which is a French automotive manufacturer, and he was the head of design and innovation for Europe. He's also been an avid academician, setting up design schools since 2008. After that, he moved back to France and was with the innovation and design team with Decathlon's brand New Feel. He's done a lot, both in transportation, product, and experience, space, graphics, all aspects of design he's worked on. And he focuses on a holistic approach and curiosity of both technology and social fields to ensure success of solving the most challenges of tomorrow. For those of you who are interested in applying to Strat for 2024, you can click on this link. I'm going to share this in the chat box. You can click on this link to apply. And if you'd like more information, you could see them listed on DQ Edge. Now, over to Thomas Dahl. Thank you so much, Thomas, for coming in today.
Thank you, Dion, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure. I'm a avid evangelist of design, so it's always a pleasure to share ideas with a new design mind.
Yeah, and I like today's topic, a sneak peek into the future. And it's very interesting to see what you have in mind.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting topic because, all these applicants for design careers are going to be, most of the time, they need to understand what's coming in order to get ready for that, so even before starting their schooling. So I hope that they will be interested.
Looking forward to what you read.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for your availability on a Sunday morning. I know that generally Sunday morning are for cocooning and having long breakfast. So thank you for giving us your brains and your neurons to listen to this talk. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to speak to you about a little bit about the purpose of design and what it will need in the coming years to be a designer. Okay, so let me just make some clicks in order to share my screen. Oh, I can't share my screen. I should know.
Right now, yeah.
Okay, yes, I can. Okay. So, do you see my screen?
Yes, Thomas, it's visible, but you can put it on presentation mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like this. Can you see?
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to speak to you from the Strat perspective. Strat is a French school of design that is set up in Bangalore since 6 years now. but it's a French school that is almost 30 years old. Actually, yes, we just had a anniversary kind of party, 30 years old of Strat France this year. Okay, so I'm Dion shared with you already my long story in design. So I'm not going to go back to this. So what does design stand for? Because, you know, a lot of people, I notice when they want to join a design school, they want to do creative studies, but not a lot of them really knows what design is. So I'm going to here try to explain what is the main purpose of design, whatever the stream that you want to do, okay? Being fashion, interaction, service, furniture design, whatever. There is always one big purpose that is there, and we are going to try to do it together. So according to you, and of course I can't hear you, right? But I hope that you will be participating from your screen. So according to you, are those objects, you know, the purpose, the goal of design, making nice chairs that are going to make people, you know, buying them, making nice accessories, you know, on fashion accessories, or making some new apps that are really like working better than the others in order to make people change to the new ones, or making nice looking cars. Do you really think that this is the main goal of design? Or maybe making some very nice displays for shops, or even designing the shells of the future of robots? No, this is not what design is all about. No, I need to break the news to you guys. This is not what design is about. Design is not about making all this. So what is design made for then? What is the real purpose of design? If it's not, you know, designing nice looking objects, what is the designer, the purpose of design? So this is this. Okay, no, it's not making babies. This is something else. The purpose of design is enhancing. So let's say this is a little girl. Okay, it's enhancing her life all along her life. Okay, so during the next I don't know, 70, 80, or maybe 90 years old, that she will find 90 the years that she will spend on the planet. How can designers make sure that in every step of her life, we will be able to create objects, services, or apps, or whatever, that are going to help her to spend a better life? Okay, so the goal of design is to enhance her life. For example, when she will be in school, to get her good chairs to be able to sit correctly and not, you know, always fidgeting because the chair is not comfortable. Give the teacher some good techniques, some good materials, equipment to share the knowledge with the kids in a better way. To be sure that when she will be becoming a teenager, that we will help her to give her all the assets and all the object and the systems and the bus routes and the good metros and maybe a good app to you take a taxi to go to meet their friends and something like that. When she will grow up, everything will be helping her for her to set up her first autonomous life when she will start to work and something like that. When she will start to date, when the couple will start to be together, you know, so dating app and all this kind of stuff are also parts of the idea. So how can we enhance each and every step of the life? When she will be pregnant, you know, how can we make the experience in the hospital much better, not stressful, you know, with machines that are not looking like torture machines, but more like, you know, machines that are going to help you, that are going to give you a good mood in order to follow what's happening with the kid and all this kind of stuff. How can we enhance also the way they are going to go on vacation, or they are going to get ready, vehicles that can be, you know, modular according to what they need and when they need it? How can we make sure that even at work, you know, we are going to propose tools, services, machines, equipment, spaces that are going to help the work to happen better, to have a better work-life balance, to be more efficient at work, less stress, and all this kind of stuff? How are we going to also think about including people that are excluded today? How can we help them to get in? We are also having to think about the people that are left alone, so our elderlies. in India now there is a big trend that is changing. That before you had this, living with your parents and your grandparents all together in the same house, but slowly, India is adopting the same bad trend of Europe and US of having the kids going anywhere and the parents being left alone, and then who is taking care of them? So design should build application and services and train people and give some tools to be able to be sure that these parents are taken care of, that they are having a nice life, and something like that. And also there is at the end, there is the death and how we can help with the design to remember, to get over the sorrow, to pay respect, and all this kind of stuff. So this is what design is all about. So design is not about the objects themselves. It's about what you can do with them. Okay, and I'm going to go back to this idea. Keep this idea in mind. So I would say that designers are the masters of the world. So don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that we are the ruler of the world. Okay, like we are the one that are going to decide. No, we are as designers masters of the world. In the world, on using the word master, like you would use masters in a master of pottery. The master of pottery maybe will be the guy who knows pottery. He knows everything about pottery and can do whatever he wants with it. Okay, in terms of knowledge, not in terms of legality. Okay, so here what I'm saying about designers being the masters of the world, I mean that designers need to know the world and everything about the world in order to be able to interact and to work in it. Okay, we'll go back to this idea just in a few minutes again. So what's coming? What's coming? You've noticed that, you all know this image, okay? This is the planet Earth, okay? Seen from space, okay? You might not have the habit to see it from this side because this is a European side. So this is the planet Earth. And if you look at this, if you step back, you can think about it like a small spaceship that is traveling into space, okay? It's a bubble of life in the middle of the emptiness of darkness of the universe, okay? So it's a spaceship where there is inside, all the resources that we need, air, water, food, and there is a crew, which is the 8 billion people living on it. And this is a little bit like this spacecraft that you see in the sci-fi movies, where they are flying in the space, and sometimes, they've got a leak of oxygen and they need to fight for survival, or they don't have food anymore, or they have a problem of water, or there is a virus that is coming and attacking them, an alien virus, and then they have to fight for survival. It's exactly what's happening for us. We've got our planets, everything that we have is there. And if something goes wrong on these planets, there's not a spaceship coming to deliver some new air, new water, and something like that. No, everything we have is there. So this is very important. This is a limited environment of the planet. This is a limited environment of human race, okay? And all the animals as well. Here, this curve is showing the GDP evolution since 00 to 2020, okay? So you can see on the graph, it's going to 2015, but you can push it a bit further. This is exploring the evolution of the activity of mankind, okay, along this period. And you can see that until 1800, nothing almost happened. And then it started to be completely crazy and go up almost vertical towards infinity. In mathematics, this curve is shown as a asymptotic curve that is going like a really, really vertical and towards infinity. So it's an unlimited growth that is happening about the human activity. And again, during the same time, if you look at this map of the world in 00, on this map of the world in 2020, it's the same. So what we have two different things that are happening. One, we've got an activity that is growing in an unlimited way. And at the same time, we've got a planet that is completely limited. We've seen it. Okay. So in physics, when something is growing in an unlimited way in a limited environment, okay, it is called an explosion. Okay. This is an explosion. So the system, the societal system that we are living in, can't be sustainable. Okay, and all the experts are saying this, that we are having a system that is not sustainable. It's creating too much waste, and people are growing too much on Earth. There's something that is going to change. Okay, and I'm not the only one saying this. You can see that there is a rise of all the problems that we have these days with the wars in Israel, in Russia, in Ukraine, saying that. So everything will change. So, and also we have to change the full way we are building things and we are delivering things and manufacturing things. Okay, so the full idea of the manufacturing and conceiving process need to change as well, according to the big change that is happening. And we are going to shift from a digital world on the left towards a numeric, a digital world. Okay, analogical to digital world. Okay. So, and we are going to change the way we manufacture to go back to what we call the circular economy. So what is a circular economy? I'm just taking 2 minutes to explain you what is circular economy for the one who don't know. A circular economy is basically what's happening in a forest. Okay, if you look at a forest, in a forest, you don't have any waste unless mankind has been there. But if it's a virgin forest, there's no waste. Everything that falls on the ground go back to the ground to be feeding the trees to go up to the trees. Okay, so every waste becomes a treasure on the food of something else. The fruits are going down; they are eaten by ants that are transforming the remain of the fruits into fermented stuff that are going to feed the roots, and the roots are going back to create new fruits. And this is what we call the looping economy, where you only have a little part on residual wastes that are not used. In the case of a forest, it's CO2 and some minerals, but most of the things that are created are reused 100%, or let's say 98%. Okay, and this is the way that we were doing, the Earth were doing, like for almost 450 billion years, and since 300 years we are not doing it anymore. The Earth is not doing it anymore. So we will have to go back to this, I think. And every expert is according to this. So we are going to move from one world to another. Okay, doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, like like you see in the movies where everybody dies and everything. No, it means that we are going to change the complete route of the social system and the economical system of the planet we are living on. And it's going to go from the old way, okay, the old world that was material, where music was done with instruments, and after that they went to cassettes and discs and all this kind of stuff. So everything was material. Money was material. It was gold, it was jewels, it was it will be local. So everything was on place. You were doing what was supposed to be done in this place, and you were not going anywhere else. It was regulated, it was enclosed, people were low educated, passive, and consuming. Okay, and we are going to shift to something that is going to be more digital, reticulated. The reticulated means instead of having a pyramidal system where you've got a monarch or a king on the top and all the other, like a boss and all the team below, it will be reticulated, like peer-to-peer kind of interlinking, like you can see on the picture below. It will be local, a mix between global and local, where you will use global knowledge to use in locally. For example, if I don't know, the Chinese got a very good way of cooking porcelain with using less wood and less resources, then this knowledge that is coming from China globally is going to come to local artisans, like in India, to cook their porcelain with less resources. And this is how we are going to use global knowledge in the local artisans. Okay, it will be deregulated. So this is something that is very important. The technology is growing so fast that the regulators are not able to make rules and guidelines accordingly. You might have remembered the drone industry. When the drone were started like 10 years ago, they were drone manufactured and launched everywhere, and there was no rules about how to fly a drone, where and where not, and things like that. And then the regulation came 5 years after. Okay, same thing for autonomous cars. Autonomous cars are starting to be here, and some of them were driving in San Francisco and things like that, like 5-10 years ago. And there was no rules about who's guilty, whose responsibility is for the car who's driving. Is it the engineer? Is it the guy who's owning the car? And all these regulations are coming after the product hits the market. And this is a big issue. It's very good because it's allowing the researchers and innovators to go fast and take decisions without being restricted by the laws. But at the same time, it's very dangerous because there's nobody controlling where it goes. Okay, and I'm thinking about AI. You know, AI is going very fast. Nobody knows who is belong, what is the content belonging. If you give something to the AI, is it part of you, and everything that is going to be built from what you said is going to be. So we don't know what's happening there. Okay, so this is what the world is going towards, where the regulations are not going to follow as fast as the technology is growing fast. And this is a beauty, but a very big risk at the same time. Okay, and we'll discuss this again a little bit. So people will be open, okay, because due to this big data that is there, you know, and all this internet, people will be having a lot of knowledge and will be able to criticize everything. So they will be educated, criticize. They will be selective because there is so many things that are going to come that they will be selecting exactly what they want. So they will be equipped basically for this world. Okay, which is making a big change for the management of the world. If you go back to roots, it's there is two philosophers here. One is Descartes on the left. The other one is Edgar Morin. And they were writing books about the future and the methods of society. And one is saying that the whole world was analytical, segmented, sequential, and linear. The other one is writing exactly what I told you: synthetic, complex, aligned, and reticulated. And if you go even more simple, the whole block was like an assembly line where every step was done and one after the other. Okay. In order to get the second task ready, you need to finish the first one. When today, with the new technologies and everything that is coming up, and the society that is coming up, it will be like this Romanesco broccoli. If you look closely to these spikes, each spike is composed of small spikes that are exactly the same, which are themselves composed of small spikes that are exactly the same. So what it means is that everything that you will do will be part of something bigger, that itself will be part of something bigger. So you will be taken into something that is not linear, where everything is always going to be looping. Okay, and this is a new way of thinking that is very interesting. And so you might say, wow, how is it going to help me? I'm coming to this. And this change was supposed to happen in a period of 30 years. Okay, this is what the scientists were saying. Okay, in 30 years, the world will have shifted. And then this guy came a few years ago and made everything faster because, you know, people were stuck at home during 2 years, and the digital world changed very drastically, you know, very fast. Nowadays, before COVID, you had, you know, shops that were not so much online. Now there's not a shop that is not online. People are selling everything online, and all the business and the commerce is done online. So the digital shift has already started. Okay, so we are moving from a world to another, but faster due to COVID. Okay, so a new world. What does it mean? There will be new rules. Okay, and it's the same thing for India, and it's going to be very interesting also for India because, you know, India is became one of the most populated country in the world. Okay, it's also becoming a consuming country, which was not in the last 20 years. Okay, so it's starting to be a very consuming country that is very interesting for the market of people. So all the big brands are coming to India. It's also known as the IT country of the world. Where people are very digital knowledgeable. Okay, the digital literacy of Indian is very higher than most of the rest of the population, but there is still, you know, a lot of people that are absolutely illiterate in terms of reading books and things like that, but they still have access to this super powerful tool, giving them superpowers, that is a smartphone. Okay, they are billing online, they are looking at accessing the world online, they are paying their bills, they are paying everything online on tools that are the same for them and for us. Okay, so there will be a big challenge in India to have digital tools that are going to be as well for the digital literate, digital native like you are, guys, and these guys that are illiterate that are going to use the same tool. So the next apps will need to deal with these two kinds of profiles, and this will be a big challenge. And this is very interesting, a very good challenge for the digital designers that are coming. Okay, so how does it work? So the new rules will be less is more. As I say, we will have a scarcity of resources, so we are going to try to do more with less resources. It will be local. We spoke about it. 3 R's, so repair, reuse, recycle, is going to be something that is not just something that you fancy doing it or not. It will have to be implemented in the industry itself, in the manufacturing process. So have to be designed this way. So the new orientation of the designer will have to be taken this in account. It will be a controlled growth. Today, you know, all the investors are always willing to have more growth, which is not possible anymore. The growth will have to be decreased, and it will be a controlled growth, certainly by the government, and everybody is discussing about it. There is also a big trend in the society that is changing the habits of owning. Okay, you know, now your parents, they are owning their cars, they are owning bikes and things like that. Nowadays, your generation, the new generation that are, you know, 10 years old, they don't care about owning. The only thing that they want is using. So that's why, you know, Yulu, Ola, Uber, and all this platform of sharing your drill, you know, a drill, you know, the drill to make holes in the wall. They are unused 98% of the time. Generally, people are using them 1 or 2 times a year, and they keep it for 5 years or 6 years. And it's costing a lot of money. So now there is a trend of sharing this object. You know, you buy one for a full society, and the society use the same drill, because you never are going to be 3 or 4 person willing to drill at the same time, and one is enough. So this sharing, instead of owning, will completely change the way you design objects, because you will not have to personalize them anymore, or whatever. So it's very interesting for the designers, this change, and it will be a win-win market, where you will have to think about how the person are going to win something when they are buying from you. Okay, and of course we spoke about the circular economy, and a low energy consumption will be a requirement. Okay, so how do we get there? How do we get to these new rules in the new world? We have to change the mindset of the new generation. Okay, here we are speaking about designers, because this is what we are dealing with. I'm design school. And in order to do that, you have to make sure that they always keep the humanity first. Okay, this is something that is evolving. You know, if you look at the design trends in the 60s, I'm just checking the time, I'm good. Since the 60s, you know, design has been invented in the 60s, and it was more about styling. So in the 60s, it was styling. And then design evolved in the 90s towards design consumer-centric. Okay, consumer-centric design. Consumer means, you know, making sure that the consumer are going to buy more. Okay, making sure that you're going to design objects to make them sexy for people to want to buy them. Okay, so it was basically business-oriented. The design was a tool for this business. Then in the 2000s, from design for consumer-centric, it became user-centric, where we started to think, okay, they are not only going to buy it, they are going to use it as well. So we need to take care of this as well. We need to take care of how they are going to use it, and design the object for them to have a good usage of it, you know, having a look at good ergonomics and all this kind of stuff, which was not so much dealt with before. Okay, and then 2010, design shifted from design user-centric design to human design, where we went a little bit more, that we were now realizing that the users are human beings with feelings and emotions. And it was not just about how you use your press drill, for example, but how are the impacts of the world that you can have on the brand that you're looking at, on the representation. If I buy this brand or this brand, what people are going to think about me. And this was the full human being, how humans are going to feel good by using your object. So it was usage, it was style, it was consumer, everything was stacking up. It was not a shift, it was an addition to the pile. Styling, consumer-centric, human-centric, user-centric, now human-centric. And now the goal will be to be humanity-centered. Okay, so when you're designing an object, you have to think about everything that was there before and the human people that is going to use it as well. But you need also to think about all the responsibility of the humanity that is behind the creation of this project, in terms of resources, being sure that you are giving happiness and pleasure to the user, but also that you're not endangering the next generation. So now we are looking at humanity-centered design, which is really something that is more complex, and I will tell you how. So how do you do that? How do you come up to create brains that are going to be able to do all this? Because, you know, it's a huge stuff. So you need to develop in the students, in the designers, a very strong collaborative skills, because the products that we are doing today are not the same than they were when I started my design career. When one guy was able to do a full project. Nowadays, they are so complex and there are so many different topics that need to be taken care of that you're going always to work in a team. And you need, in order to be efficient, to be having a lot of collaborative skills. And this is one of the primary requirements in order to get a job. Okay, so you need to have a big range of general culture, because nowadays, everything collide. They use biologic logics in order to create some parametric functions that is going to help you to use your softwares to create your toothbrush. Okay, so you need to have a knowledge of all this together in order to be able to take ideas from everywhere to build something that is relevant and understand fit in the world. You will have to be techno-friendly, of course. We spoke about the digital world. Okay, so you have to be techno-friendly. You will have to be human curious. You need to understand how human body and human thinking is working in order to be sure that you will be able to create the emotions right. You need to, so this is the second one, you need to know yourself, because as a designer, you have to create emotions. If I design a car that is supposed to make you think that it's going fast, then I need to understand how, which shapes and which things are going to make you think it's going fast. So in order to do that, I need to understand how I am understanding the shapes that are making me think. So whatever, if you know yourself, you are only going to be able to create emotion in others. You will have to think about not out of the box, but without any box, because the world is going to change completely the roots. So the base are going to be different. And you need to be a good person, because as a designer, you will be designing the behavior of people. So if you've got bad behaviors yourself, if you are, greedy and all these kind of 7 sins deeply inside you, and you don't have the good sharing values and things like that, then you will be a designer that is going to design the future this way, on which it's not maybe what you want to do. And you will have to understand the digital world and the business, because this is what is going to make you a valid asset and a sexy asset for a company, because companies are going to pay you as a designer if you can make them earn more money and if you can make them enter the digital world. So this is for your generation specifically, the one that are coming in the next 5 years, what's going to happen. Okay, and this is what we do in Strat. We are making the world more simple, more just, and more beautiful. Beautiful here is not only the visual aesthetic of the world, but of the word beautiful. It's a beauty, the poetic beauty of beautiful, balance, equitable, and all this kind of stuff. Okay. So we got also a definition of design: more than a profession, more than a discipline. Design is a transformation force field embodied by demanding professionals, readers, and thinkers of complexity, on producing sustainable experiences, providing beauty in human lives. Or here again, beauty is not the visual beauty, the aesthetic, but everything else. Okay. So design is not just a job. When you're stepping into the design career, it's not like, if you were a dentist, the dentists become a dentist when you step inside their office, in their cabinet. Okay, they become a dentist from 9 to 5. And when they go home, they're not a dentist anymore. They're not going to look at the teeth of everybody they meet in the evening and something like that. When you're a designer, you are going to think about design all day long, even during your holidays. So it's not a job. It's something that is beyond a job. It's like, a martial art. You are a designer. You're not. It's not a job. It's almost a personality, and you need to be ready for that. It's need to be a drive from inside. Okay, so let's speak a bit more quickly about the digital revolution, because this is what is the most important here. So you all know these machines that we are all surrounded with, these coffee machines that are, you can program, you can add more sugar, less sugar, get your own stuff. When it's running out of coffee, it's ordering directly on Amazon and it's sent to your house and all this kind of stuff. You got also rackets. The orange stuff is a racket handle. Rackets that are analyzing your moves, to help you to. So it's a coach, basically. It's a tennis coach that is embedded inside your rackets in order to tell you if your amplitude of movement, your speed, your holding, your angles are good, if your way you hit the ball is strong enough, and things like that. And it's helping you to analyze your gesture and to become a better stuff. The same thing for the shoes. There are shoes embedded with lots of captors that are linked to your phones in order to help you to track the pace, the way you step, how your feet is rolling on the ground, where is the impact, how you can minimize the impact in order to minimize the knee and hips problems. So all this is already around us, and it's going even in the small stuff, toys. I don't know. I had toys, they were made of wood. Okay, and I was making the noise of them like that. And now you've got teddy bears that are robots you can speak with, you can converse with. They can look at you, they can analyze your behavior. And if you're doing something dangerous, they will tell you, be careful, you're doing something dangerous, because they will be linked with an AI that is going to analyze the risk in the room that we are in. It's completely changing towards something that is completely digital. Of course, I'm sure that most of you will have one of these watch that you can see on the upper right corner. It's a smartwatch that is linked with your phone, and most of you will have in the house some smart controllers that are controlling your AC, generally in your full flat, or the lights, or the temperature, the phone, Alexa being everywhere, or all this kind of stuff. So it's everywhere. And it's even in the car. So it's interesting, because in the cars, the car is one of the big investments that people do. Okay, a car basically can cost from 10 to 60 lakhs, and generally it's a 3 years equivalent of a salary. People are buying cars that are equivalent to 3 years of salary. It's a big investment. And if you look at the cars that we have today, of course, some of them are internet ready. But if you look at what they can do, compared to what your phone can do, even if you pay so much more, they are stupid. These vehicles, even if they are internet ready, they are stupid. Okay, and this is something that is interesting. The digital world is not going. The digital experience of the vehicles is not going as fast as the digital evolution of. Oh, sorry, you don't see it. It's my phone here. It's an iPhone. Okay, so it's not going as fast as a smartphone evolution. So this is something where the digital designers will have to work very quickly in order to make sure that the trend is going well. Here, this is the curve of the cost of a GB. In 1960, 1 gigabyte, making 1 gigabyte was costing more than 1 billion dollars. Sorry. Today, in 2020, it's not going there, but 2015-20, it's becoming less than €5 to create 1 gigabyte. Okay, like the pen drives and all these kind of memories. Okay, so the cost of electronics and capacities are very interesting, but that's not why people want to buy these digital assets. It's not because the cost is down. This guy is called Simon Sinek. If you don't know him, I advise you to read what he's saying. He's having good insights on the world. And he's having something called the golden circle, and he's explaining this video. It's a short video. You can look at it in 10 minutes, explaining the reason why people are buying things and why we are shifting towards the digital objects and not staying with the stupid ones that we had before, but we are going to the smart ones. So he's saying that people are not buying objects for the capacity that they have. If you look at an iPhone, for example, okay, there is a big difference in the way Apple is selling their phone on the way, I don't know, maybe Samsung is. Samsung will tell you, oh, my phone is this many megabytes and got a screen of this many megapixels, and the camera is so much with a lens of this much, something like that. And they will tell you all the technical performances of their phones. Okay, when if you look at Apple, what they do is they tell you what you can do with the phone, how the phone is going to change your life. Okay, and this is why people like Apple. The phones might not be the best, something like that, but what they're buying is not the technology, it's the magic of the technology. They are buying the experience of the phone. Okay, and this is how we are all going towards this digital world. Is because it's because we are buying we want the experience. We don't want the technicity. We want the technology to be magic. We want the technology to be forgotten. We don't want to know. Most of us tomorrow, if there's not an engineer, we don't know how to use these phones anymore. If there is anything going wrong with the phone, we don't know how to fix them. Okay, so the technology is not something that is important. What is important is the experience. And this is what Apple is very good at selling. And this is what we are all going to be having to do in the future, on what designer will have to focus on, how to make experience great. So if you look at if you look a little bit backward, the world is changing, that's for sure. The digital products are everywhere, that's for sure. And the technology is not important. Okay? What I mean by that is that knowing the technology is not important. Of course, technology is super important. What is important is the experience. How is the technology going to enable a good experience? And this is what we designers need to do. Okay. You've seen that the technologies have been evolving, and now you've got here different ways of making the same thing. Lights. Okay, you can do fires, or you can do LED and all these kind of lamps and bulbs. This is a curve of showing you the number of innovations and the time, and you see that it's following the same curve than the one that you see on the GDP. I put some 3 dates here that are interesting, because 1983 was the opening of internet to the world. Okay, 1997 was the creation of Wi-Fi. 2020 is the creation of ChatGPT and all the open AIs. Okay, all this I made up possible now to have Superhuman. Okay, and this is everybody now with AIs and all this Wi-Fi and connectivity is becoming a superhuman. We are all superhumans, okay? I've got powers that my parents and grandparents don't have. I've got the knowledge of billions of generations in my hand, okay? And this is a superpower that is going to change everything in the future. And we need to understand how this is going to impact the mass, because this is going to change, as I mentioned before, the full behavior of the society, the full rules of the society. Okay, and we need to unlock the human potential by creating some objects that are going to be able to do that. Okay, in order to release the magic of the experience, we need to make the technology forgotten and to create the experience from the technology. So my advice here, this is the end. My advice here is to make you understand that design is absolutely not about the object or the software or the app that you're going to do. The only goal of your creations, whatever they are, it can be a dress, it can be a furniture, it can be a software, it can be a car, it can be a tractor, it can be shoes, whatever. What you need to think about is what is the experience that the user is going to get from it. Okay. So is it going to be digital or not? Is it going to, in a shoes, you don't have the same, on a chair, when you're making a chair, the experience is not going to be like life-changing maybe. But you need to think about it. This needs to be your goal to make sure that, wow, maybe it's not when you sit on it, maybe when you look at it, maybe when you look at it from an angle, it's going to disappear, becoming invisible. I don't know. There is what you can do, but the goal is not to make the object. The goal is to create the experience. And if you're becoming good at this, then you're going to be a good designer. And that's why you need to choose a school that is going to focus on this and not teach you how to draw a nice object, because this is what I was taught 30 years ago. Okay, now you need to choose a school that is going to teach you how to make a great experience. And then from the experience, it will be logical that there will be a software, an object, a solution that is going to become, and of course, this one has to be sexy. Okay? So this will be the big takeaway from this presentation. Yeah. And I can speak to you about Strat, maybe, if I've got some more time.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
Okay, so I'm going to shift to another presentation. I'm just checking. Yep. Oh, there's something here. What is this? Give me 2 seconds. No, it's not this one. Sorry. Maybe I should do this here. Sorry, it's not very. This user experience is not very good here. Okay, this is here. Up. How much minute do I have, Diane?
Probably. So we've, we need to wrap up by about 10:15.
Okay.
Including Q&A.
Perfect. Okay. So Stride is offering you a bachelor and a master. Okay, in 5 different, 4 actually, and 5 from next year. So we are still waiting for the approval. So we are doing mobility, product, identity, and interaction. Mobility is transportation design. It's about everything that moves and carries people and objects. So cars, bikes, train, trucks, ferries, helicopters, whatever. Okay. And it's not about designing the car, like I mentioned. It's not about styling the car. It's about really thinking about how people will move in the future. With electric vehicles, it's going to change completely the architecture of the cars. And you've got autonomous cars that are going to be completely different from the one. And if you look at autonomous cars, there will be autonomous delivery. And Amazon vehicles that are going to deliver to your house. Are they going to be normal cars with no driver, which will be stupid? Are they going to be cupboards that are driving on the road, which is also going to be stupid? But it's going to be something in between that is not existing yet. Okay, so there is a lot of work to create some new race, new bride of vehicles, and it's super interesting. And this is what we are focusing on. Of course, you will also design Lamborghinis and Ferraris, but you are going to learn much more than just that. Product design is about everything else, tablets, lamps, fans, shoes, furniture, and everything else. That is a very broad spectrum of design, where you're going to learn how to give a good experience to the user. Identity is a relationship between a brand and its customer through all the different medias. So it can be the social medias, it can be the videos, it can be the advertising, it can be the stores, it can be everything. And we are going to teach the student how to make sure that the discussion, the storytelling of the brand, the values of the brand are going down to the customer homogeneously through all these different touch points, different medias, and we are going to teach all of them for them to become what we call a brand identity manager that is going to take in charge of full communication of a brand and not just one part of it. And then there is interaction.
Thomas, could you put this on presentation mode, please?
Oh,
you're not seeing the presentation.
I am.
You're not sharing that.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. Yeah. Share again. Okay. Share again. I'm presenting.
Yeah, you can put it on presentation. It's not yet on presentation mode.
No, it's not going. Sorry, there is an issue. I'm going to go in presentation mode. Okay, and I'm going to go in Zoom. Here, I'm going to present. Share screen. Now it should be good. Is it good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So we got interaction. Interaction design is what we spoke about mostly about the digital world and how we are going to teach the students how to create a nice interaction with technology. So interaction human to machine, human to human through the machine, and all this kind of interaction with technology and how we can design with technology. So we are not focusing basically on a screen-based application like, phone and WhatsApp and things like that. We are including in all our teachings what's coming. It means VR, AR, voice recognition, gesture recognition, haptics, and all these kind of AIs. And these guys are really going to work on what's coming in the next future. Because, if you look at Instagram now, which is a big hit, okay, everybody's using Instagram, it's on a flat screen. But what is going to look, how is it going to look when it's going to go in VR? What is Instagram in VR? We don't know. Okay, is it going to be a sphere of screens everywhere around you? How are you going to move the screens around you? How are you going to click on things? So this is a behavior that we don't know yet. There is a full experience that we need to create, and how these tools that we are using today so much are going to shift to the VR mode. And this is very interesting, and we are getting the student ready for that. So it's a very, very, very future-oriented stream, interaction design. of course, mobility, product, and identity are also dealing with all this VR and XR stuff, but interaction is really the core of this. And we've got space design that is going to be a mix between interior design, architecture, a little bit of urbanization, and a lot of interaction as well, because we are going to speak about space design in terms of how to create a space where people are going to do things, and how we can manage a space in order to make the things that are happening there efficient, fluent, and happy. Okay, so it's very interesting. It's just much more than interior design. It's going to go deeper in terms of the thinking. Okay. So there is a lot of internships in the school. Okay, we are really thinking that we are having a school that is very, very hands-on. Okay, and we want the student to be hands-on in the school and then apply their knowledge into internship in order to be sure that they are industry ready. And we don't have teachers in the school, we have designers, okay, which is making a big difference in the way we teach. Actually, I should not use this word even, the way we share and the way we coach our students, because not having a teacher and having designers is really having benefits of not having this teacher-student relationship, but more a mentor, more a colleague, kind of, like you would have when you've got a more experienced colleague that is training you. This is the kind of relationship that we have with our students. And we also have designers that are up to date. Not all the teachers are up to date. So they might have learned design 20 years ago, and it has changed a lot. So now we've got, instead of having this issue of time gap, we have a designer that are working today and are teaching today what they learned, like when they are still practicing today. Okay, so it's always up-to-date teaching. We've got a lot of industry partners. So students from the year 3 are going to work with companies for real projects. So the company will come to the school and work with the student to deliver some real projects that are going to be in the store. So it's a real world in order to give the students a real beacons to become a corporate, efficient designer that is going to be able to work with the industry and be industry ready. We've got a lot of partnerships that are helping us to be always up to date in terms of, we are discussing with them about what are the needs, what are the skills that they need to hire new students, new joinees in their teams, in order to make sure that our courses are always tailored to fit with the market requirements in designers. So when there is a new tool, a new software that is used by the companies, we are including it into the teaching to be sure that when the student will be graduating, they will be knowing all the softwares that the companies are looking for. Okay, also it's allowing us to make, placement and having a crossing strategy, having projects and things like that. But everything that we do is only having one purpose. In the school, and the purpose is to make sure that every student will have a different portfolio. Okay, there are schools that are taking 2,000 students a year, and they just want you to have a portfolio at the end. Here, we are making sure, and it's a very big pride in Strat, to be tailoring the portfolio of each student according to their needs and their goals and their dreams. Each student will have a different goal. Some of them will want to work for Apple, which is a very, very big corporate company. Some of them will want to work from an NGO, okay, which is no corporate at all. And some of them will want to work as a freelancer. And in order to achieve these 3 different dreams, you have to have different portfolios with different internship path inside. In order to go to Apple, you need to be part of 5 different companies, because Apple is only hiring from 5 design companies. Okay, if you don't have this experience in these 5 companies, you don't go to Apple. So in order to go to these 5 companies, you need to have done that, and there is a path to lead to Apple. Okay, and we are helping the student to create the path, to choose the internship accordingly, and to create the portfolio accordingly. So we are helping students to know who they are, to know what they want, to identify what is their own goal, and accordingly, according to this goal, to create the path through their design journey to achieve it. And this is what we are very proud of, is that we are really taking our students one by one and helping them to grow accordingly. So we would say that we are a boutique school. That's why we don't take, 300 students or 400 or 500 or more students a year. And this year we are only going to take 100 students. And we are going to select them. So last year we had more than 950 applications, and we took 75 students. Every year we are growing a little bit. So this is the selection that we are doing. We are planning with all of those schools also, to make some exchanges, semester exchange. We've got another advisory board of international designers. We are part of the World of Design Organization and the Cumulus. And we've got different ways of admission. We've got a full 100% scholarship available, up to 100% scholarship that is done based on a project. So your students that are interested will have to submit a project to Strat, and this project will be assessed by a jury, and according to the amount of innovation and skill and thinking of this project, scholarship would be available or not, of course. And you've got lateral entries also for students. We've got a lot of students coming from Auto School of Design. They spend 1 year there, they're not happy, and they come back to Strat. So we've got a lot of possibles to accept students from other schools when they are not happy of where they are. And this is the old way of being admitted in Strat. So yeah, and we've got also something that is very interesting. We've got 4 international campuses that are all doing the same syllabus, which is allowing us to make some exchange with our students. So we've got in year 2, for the students that are joining us, in year 1, so the students that are joining us for UG, in year 2, we are giving them the option to go to France, either in Lyon or in Paris, in order to spend 1 year there. So there's no increase of education fees. They are still paying the same cost, even if they are studying in Paris and Lyon. And but they have to take care of their own expenses, stay and food in Paris or Lyon accordingly. So this year, after the COVID, it was difficult. So no parents wanted to send their students. This year, we had 4 students that decided to go from Bangalore to Paris, and they are spending the year there. And we've got 3 students from Paris and Lyon, so 2 from Paris and 1 from Lyon, that moved from Paris to Bangalore. Okay, so before COVID, we had 7 exchange. This year, and now we only have 4 going. COVID, during the 3 years of COVID and post-COVID, this exchange is stopped, but we started it again this year. So 1 year optional in second year to spend a full year in France at no extra cost in terms of education fees. That's it. I'm happy to take your questions. I'm going to just scroll down some images, but if you've got any question, I'm happy to answer them.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for that, Thomas. It's been a very, very insightful talk, and I love the way you started introducing the context and then brought it down to the evolution of design, how it's been evolving, and then coming into the other aspects of pretty much the skills that our future designers would need to have. And it's very, very important that you bring that up, because technology plays a very significant role, right? But it seems like technology is taking over our lives and not assisting us with our lives, right? How and that's really the fear that AI brings in, right? So how do you view AI as a technology that's coming up?
So I think that AI, is a plus. It's a plus. It's a tool. When I was studying design in I graduated last century. Okay, my graduation was 1999, so in the last century, and we were just discovering Photoshop. Okay, Photoshop. We were at Photoshop 2. Okay, now we are Photoshop 18, I think. Okay, so Photoshop was black and white. The printer was black and white. We had the first 3D CADs softwares. We were doing, and everybody was saying, "Oh, CAD softwares are going to kill designers. Oh, Photoshop is going to kill designers." And if you look at what's happening now, almost 25 years after that, Photoshop is the best friend of designers. Nobody can make a presentation without using Photoshop or 3D. Okay, and I believe that AI is the same. of course, AI is much more powerful than just Photoshop, because it can do Photoshop without you being there. But it's a tool. And this is how you need to understand it. If you make the mistake of using AI, thinking that it's going to deliver to you a final product, like some of the students are trying to do, they prompt something in DALL-E or whatever, something comes out of the machine, and they just put it on their presentation and say, "Oh, this is my project." No, because DALL-E is not smart enough yet, and it will take, believe me, few more years for DALL-E or all these AIs to make something that is as relevant as you could have come with your brain. So it's just a tool, and I would just finish this and synthesize this by quoting Elon Musk. Okay, Elon Musk was asked by a journalist, "Mr. Musk, are you not afraid that AI will take your job?" And Elon Musk thought a little bit and replied, "I'm not afraid that AI will take my job, but I'm afraid of a man working with AI will take my job." Okay? And this is how you need to look at AI. AI is a superpower for men. It's not an entity yet. Maybe 10 years, 15 years in the future, maybe. But for now, it's not an entity. It's a superpower. You use it or not. And what is sure is that people will be using it, and it's used for, you should use the AI to do things that are not valuable. We already changed the way we are teaching in Strat. I was taught, out of 5 years of design, because in France it's 5 years, okay, a master is 5 years. Out of 5 years of design, I was taught, I would say, half of my time, how to draw, how to make perspective, how to use softwares, and all this kind of stuff. How to make models, how to, with my file to make the shape on the foam, on the wood. I was taught all this during half of my training. Today, this is irrelevant, because Photoshop and drawing might not be as important as it was before, because this was interesting for me at my time, because it was the only way to achieve a sexy rendering, something that was eye-catching, that you can sell. But today, with the AI, these skills are not so relevant anymore. So out of these 4 years of a bachelor of design, on 6 years of masters, or 5 years if you go to Strat, because now with the NEP change, it's 3 years of bachelor, 4 years you've got a bachelor honors, and after that you've got a master in 5 years. This is what the NEP is changing. So out of these 5 years of teaching, how much is going to be reduced of skills in order to enhance the thinking power, the understanding of people, the psychology, and all this kind of stuff, in order to make your thinking more deep. So basically, the designers of tomorrow, the designers that I'm training now in Strat, are going to be AI ready. It means that they are going to have the skills to work with the AI and not being, competing with AI. Because if you compete with AI, trying to make the good renders on Photoshop when people are going to make it on AI, then you're screwed. You will not find job, because you will take 4 hours to do something that people will do in 2 hours, or not even in 10 minutes. Okay, so this is what we do, and this is how we implement AI in our studies, in order to make sure that our designers will be AI compliant, and they will be working with AI as a tool, and thinking that it's not a final entity that is going to be delivering projects that are finished. When the AI is delivering something, you need to spend time finishing it. I don't know if you used it, but if you used it, you see that the hands sometimes have 6 or 7 fingers, the teeth are not straight, and you need to spend time finishing it in order to make it relevant. And you wanted it to express more aggressivity, and it's not exactly aggressive as you want. So you need to change the stance of the object, change the shining, change the grain, and you need to spend time to make what you want, and not let the machine drive your creativity stream.
Yeah, it actually appears that it is improving our questioning skills, our ability to ask questions.
Because, in the creative skills, what you do generally, you create 100 drawings, and then from these drawings, new ideas comes, and then you do the 20 more that are super relevant, and then you select the final one. This will take you 3 days. Here, you just have to enter 25 clicks, and you will have these 120 ideas in front of you. And then you can select, and then you can start thinking from this material that is come to you quick.
Yep.
And then you can start thinking about what is relevant, what is not, and why would you do this? Why do you prefer this one? And then you start thinking, and this is where your skills are mattering. And then from that, you can ask the machine to do some more with better questioning.
Yep. And we don't have much time. So there's a question. Does Strat offer 4-year BDES program?
So now with the new NEP, so NEP is a new education policy in India that was introduced in 2019, and applicable from this year for all the industry, for all the universities, and will be forced to be applied next year. We are offering now what we call a 4-year program that is going to be Bachelor Honors in 4 years. So you will have, Strat is offering a BSc, Bachelor of Science in Design, so 3 years, and Bachelor Honors 4 years, and with which you can do make an MDes after if you want. So why are we not doing why are we doing an MSc and not an MDes? It's just a question of nomenclature, because the university that we were working with, that is Jain, that is one of the 100 best university in India, ranked NAC A++, so very good university, has already had their own BDES, and the university can't have 2 BDES that have different content. So ours is a BDES in content. The syllabus is a BDES, fully 100% BDES, fully dedicated to design. There's no science. But we call it a BSc because of nomenclature issues. So we are offering a BSc honor in 4 years that is fully 100% design content oriented.
Okay.
And we are also offering a master. You just add 1 year more, so and you've got a master in design.
And all right. So if you
just to finish, and from next year, so if you're applying for next year, not 24, 25, but if you're applying for 25 onward, we will have a real BDES. BDES and MDES will be a real names. We are working on it, to offer the real nomenclature.
All right.
Content will not change, just the nomenclature will change.
Okay. One more question. Now, if they do a BSc honors, which is a 4-year degree, can they add the 1 year to get the MSc?
Absolutely. This is how the regulation in India through the UGC, University Grant Commission, is done. So this is the path, actually.
All right. Few more questions coming in. Helen is asking, beautiful, thank you for the presentation. Where would communication design, especially animation, fall in, in the programs that Strat offers?
So for now, Strat is not known for animation. We are not good in animation. We are not teaching animation. Okay. So it will. Your question is very relevant because it's not fitting anywhere for now. We are looking at starting on partnering with big schools to open a big animation course in the coming years. So maybe not this one. So I don't know if you're looking for this year. For this year, we will not be able to help you with animation. Okay, we will be able to help you with animation the year after, where we will open a very, very interesting animation course with very, very big support and very big name in the industry that we are discussing with. So it's going to be something great, something big. But for now, we don't have. We have what is the closest is the identity, but it's not going to be about making Spider-Man jumping from one building to building. It's going to be the identity where you're going to work on visuals and maybe some video making and things like that, but it's not going to be really animation. If you want to do mangas, I know that all of you are crazy about mangas and they want to do animation. I will re-advise you also, all the people that want to do animation, to look at what is the reality of the work after. It's like gaming industry. Everybody wants to be gaming because you like gaming, you like mangas. So you want to say, oh, why not making a job out of it? You need to be careful with this and check what is the reality of the job market in animation and what is the reality of working in animation. Most of the time, you're in the dark room all day long from 9 to 10, doing extra hours. It's not very well paid, and there is 100 people in the same room. So look at what is the reality of animation before you really jump in. And I think this is something that most of you guys are not doing so much before jumping into the design field. You need to really understand, guys, that there is a dream and there is a reality. And this is what I would try to do with this today presentation, is to tell you what is the reality of the design job. It's not, only glitter and glamorous stuff. There are some reality, and some jobs are stronger and harder than the others. And gaming and animation are one of them, two of them actually. Whereas the dream of playing games all day long and being a gamer, game design is not the same. So,
right.
Yeah, so next year, if you're looking at next year, let's speak again about animation next year. But for now, we don't have things about animation for Strat.
All right. So there is another comment which says, thank you, Thomas. It was very insightful and useful presentation. Shloka is asking, does Strat have fashion design?
So fashion design. So there is two ways of going to fashion design. Okay. For example, I was head of design of Decathlon, head of design and innovation in Decathlon, the sport brand. And we had designers, product designers that were designing all the clothes, the technical gears. We call them technical gears of Decathlon. Okay. So if your goal is to be a fashion designer, to design saris and cocktail dress, something like that, the only way for you is to go to a fashion school, because this is where you will get the contact, the connect. You will know the big names. You will go to the big companies for internship. There is a lot of big companies. You've got the famous Italian one that is in Mumbai and all this kind of stuff. So you've got a big companies that are doing very good fashion stuff. If your goal is not to make this kind of very unique cocktail dress, but you want to make, not even cocktail dress, but the shirts for Zara, H&M's and things like that. If this is your goal, you need to go to a fashion school. If you want to do gears, like backpacks, shoes, if you want to make maybe design accessory, goggles, glasses, things like that, even ski anoraks or t-shirts, everything that you would find in a Decathlon shop, for example, all the equipments that you will find in a Decathlon shop, will be done by product designers that are, we call them apparel designers. And then Strat is training designers, product designers to be apparel designers. We've got a small, how can I say, route through the product design to go for we call it soft goods design, including apparel and backpack, shoes, something like that. So it's not, if you really want to do shoes, you should need to go to a footwear school. That would be even better. But if you want to do things in this fashion industry and you don't know yet what, product design can be a solution. So if you're interested, let's get in touch and let's speak about your dream, your project, what you want to do. And then I will tell you if you can, if it's better for you to do a fashion school, or if you can do a product design school that is going to turn you into an apparel designer. Okay.
Right. Samita Das is asking, what's the difference between a 4-year BDes and a 4-year BSc design? I know you spoke about that, but if you could maybe reiterate.
Yeah, so it's basically the nomenclature. It's only the nomenclature. BSc, I know that BSc, seems like scientific. And there are some people thinking that, because it's a BSc, you will do a lot of science, because Bachelor of Science, BSc. But we don't. The content that we have is, as I mentioned before, is the same than the one that they are teaching in Paris, which is a Bachelor or a Master of Design, so fully design. And we've got the same syllabus, not exactly the same, but almost the same, 95% the same. And it's only design oriented. So the content could be a BDes. Okay, if you change B, the last letters after the B, BSc or BDes, it would be a BDes. But it's called a BSc for the reason I told you, because the university we had a link with was already having a BDes, so we couldn't have a second BDes. That was different. So we had to choose something else. But the difference in the industry will not be so much, because there's a lot of companies that are hiring people not because of their degree, but more because of their portfolio. So if you got a good portfolio with a BSc, it's much better than if you got a bad portfolio with a BDS, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only little difference is that with a BSc, you might have to explain it, how it's a BSc in design. So you have to, during the interview, maybe to explain it a bit more.
Right. Thank you for that, Thomas. Now, next comment from Helen Kipton, who's saying, thank you, Thomas, because as a parent, I'm very taken by the perspective of your school. It's so relevant. All right. Next question from Uma Maheshwari, who's asking about what about the industrial design as a career? Is it an upcoming field? Number one. Number two, does Strat have industrial design? And this will be the last question we're taking, because we're way past time. Yeah.
Okay. So So just to get a definition of industrial design, I'm going to answer quickly. I'm trying. Industrial design is, there is a difference. There is two categories in design. There is a one-off design, the artistic design, where you are going to make design. Let's say you're going to design a wood table and you're going to sell it for 4 lakhs, and you're going to make 2 of them in your life. Okay. This is artistic design. Okay. Everything that goes into the industry that is going to be produced, mass produced, is called industrial design. So industrial design can be for softwares, because you're going to make apps that are going to be sold in millions. So it's industrial software, so industrial digital design. And you are also industrial when you're making cars, when you're making hair dryers, when you're making a t-shirt for Zara, for example. You're an industrial designer because you're working for the industry. Okay. So this is what industrial design is. So when you're thinking, do you have industrial design? All my design courses are oriented toward industry. Okay. If you're looking at being a potter and making some pots on your side, you will not be able to do it through Strat. Actually, you will be able to do it as a hobby as well, but we will not be trained mostly for that. Strat is really training people to be corporate designers working with industry. Okay. So yes, we do have industrial design because this is what we do. This is what is mostly the specialty of Strat, to work with mass production product. Okay. It's product design. We call it product design, and this is what you are going to learn in product design. It will be this industry. So I remember your question was in 2 parts. I think I answered only one. Maybe Diane, you can help me with what was the second part of the question? Oh, Diane is maybe doing something.
Sorry.
Okay, so
sorry. The second part is whether Strat has industrial design.
Yeah, so we do. All our courses are industrial design, in interaction, in car design, in identity, and in interaction design. But we are all focusing on mostly the big school. We are not, there are some schools that are specialized in, art and craft design. Okay. So there's big schools that I'm sure all the names are coming to your mind. The big schools that are known for that. Strat is not. Of course, the skill that you will get in Strat will allow you to do that, but you will not be trained towards that, to be an art and craft designer. Okay, you will be more into a industry-oriented designer, to work with in a team, to work with Honeywell, to work with Wipro, Ferrari, Renault, BMW, Apple, Samsung, I don't know, Decathlon, Canon, these big brands. This is what we are training our students towards. I think it's also interesting because this is where you can really mass produce some good product to change the world, and it's also where you get a bigger salary as well.
All right. With that, Thomas, thank you so much. It's been a very, very insightful session. I loved the presentation part of it. There were a lot more questions I had in my mind. But good. We had, a good chance to speak about this and your school and where you are looking at. So super presentation, and looking forward to more interactions with you and your team.
You know that I'm always ready, Dion, whenever you want.
All right.
To share. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for everyone for the patience on this Sunday morning. And I wish you a good Sunday and a happy Sunday.
All right, Thomas.
Bye.